Time waits for no man. You gotta boss up, man. It's time to stop playing around, being lazy. Get up, get to the money. Believe in yourself. Motivation, Juicy J, 3-6 model.
Welcome to Acre Farms. I'm Jamie. My husband's name is Ryan. We are first generational farmers. For our returning subscribers, thank you. We also do need to apologize because we've been MIA. And I will explain to you guys why we've been MIA. So when we bought this farm, we knew it was going to be hard work. But I didn't realize how much work it was going to be. And it's very rewarding work, but it's extremely hard work. When we first bought this farm, someone said that you do realize that you'll have no free time. It's true. It is true. But you know what? We're happy. We enjoy what we're doing. There's not enough time in the day. So let me share with you guys what we've been up to. We've been working on this. This is actually our berry plot. You will see we do have quite a bit of weeds coming through. So we do have a silage tarp that we're trying to solarize and kill the weeds underneath there. And then what we're doing is we're going to continually roll it back. And then we're going to clean out the weeds, and then we are putting a thick layer of mulch because we are trying to kind of practice organic practices. And so we're not using any type of like weed killer or anything like that. We're using the mulch to try to suppress it. So we have all of that left to do with the berry plot. We've got to clear all that out. We've got to pull all these weeds and get some more berries planted. We're not anticipating on getting berries this year. The next few years I think we'll start to see some benefit from that. So we've also been working on this. Let me show you. So this right here is the spot for our greenhouse. I think it's a 10 by 30. Don't quote me on it. Ryan will correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a 10 by 30, I do believe. And my brother actually came and helped us get these footings in place. And it is on a slope, so my brother is very good at building these things. So we can't thank him enough for the help that he provided us, because it honestly wouldn't have went this well with just Ryan and I. We probably would have had a greenhouse that you'd have to like walk into at a slant. Over here is plot 3. Plot 3 has given us such a hard time. Plot 3, if you can see, it's basically on a slope. And so all the water from the peak of that barn, basically when it rains, it just washes down. And so then we start getting some erosion. So this has given us a little bit of a challenge, but I will tell you, this first row here, we did the Three Sisters companion planting, and it actually has worked pretty stinking well. I think we've had an issue with vine borer, so I've had to replant. I've had extra plants that I did go ahead and replant because I did take one out. Here's another example of the Three Sisters where the pea is actually climbing the corn, which is awesome. And then there's the zucchini. So the zucchini isn't really choking it out, it's giving it enough space. So this actually is probably the best representation of that planting style. This row right here, if you can see, all the way down, this is our Taiwan yard bean. So we have to get this trellis done. We're supposed to go all the way down. We're just running out of time here, folks, but we do need to get the trellis all the way down. We just used cattle panel and we did T-post. And then we just kind of used the clamps, the T-post clamps, and connected those together. This next row right here is, you'll see down the way here, those are our sugar snap peas. So the same concept, we have to get these trellises done so the snap pea can grow up the trellis. We did 3 rows of sweet corn because our amazing neighbors gave us some sweet corn to plant. So we've never done sweet corn before, so we ended up using a seeder and planted it in each row. This row right here are our bush beans. This row right here is not doing well. Remember how I was telling you how the water just kind of set a slope and just runs down? Well, this gets the brunt of it. So I have a feeling that this is just getting too much moisture and is causing erosion. So we're gonna have to fix this bed. So showing you plot 3, that actually is the bed that I am weeding. So my goal is to get 3 rows done a day for weeding, and it takes me roughly, depending on how bad the weeds are, it could take me anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I'll either do it really early in the morning or I'll do it really late in the evening. So it just depends on how much time that I have. Because again, we both work full time, and time is kind of limited. So this is what we do, and we've been busy. So let me show you plot 2 that we actually we just fully got it kind of seeded. I'm actually watering the garden as well, so you're going to hear some water noise. But let me show you plot 2, and I'm relieved that we have this done because it's one thing off of our list we can mark done. So this is plot 2. Along plot 2, we have to also go back and remulch it because you're seeing that there's a lot of weed pressure here. So we got to go clean this out again and then remulch it. There's just tons of weeds that we're constantly trying to combat, but I think eventually we'll get there. But you'll see we have comfrey, we have blueberry plants all the way down. It's supposed to be the start of an edible hedgerow, so that's what we're going to do, is carry all the way down to the property, which will be cool once it really starts taking off. We also, again, got our hands on some comfrey plants, and they're really starting to take off, so that's amazing. This row here, we actually seeded radish. We already did one succession of radish. We started this row a couple of weeks ago, and it's doing really well. So we'll have radishes to take to our market here in just a few weeks. This next row, honestly, I have to weed these rows. I still have to weed these, so please bear with me. This we actually did collards, so we are planting collards. They're starting to come up, so I just need to go back through and weed this thing. I just weeded this last week. This row is cabbage, and again, I just have to weed it. I don't necessarily know. We did some late planting, so we'd have a fall crop, so we'll see. We'll see how well this works, see how our timing works. This row we actually did kohlrabi. Again, I have to weed this. But my fear on this row is that I don't know what kohlrabi actually looks like as a seedling, so I'm worried that I'll pull what I'm not supposed to pull. So I'm hesitant on pulling and weeding this bed overly too much because I don't want to pull something that I'm not supposed to. The other stuff I can figure out, but the kohlrabi I'm just not 100% sure. Here's another row of tomatoes that we did. These are our slicers. You can never have enough slicers. Just kidding. The reason why Ryan wanted to do this, I'll show you guys, because he thinks that I over prune the other slicers, so he wanted to have this to be safe. So we'll see. I'll let you guys be the decision makers of that. This row right here is our Swiss chard. So Swiss chard is actually doing pretty well. So hopefully this will start taking off here, and we'll be able to take it to the market here real soon. We also did eggplant, and then we companioned it with onions. So this row right here is eggplant and onions. Here's my hot pepper row. If you look, the hot peppers are basically snugged up against the right side of the row. Was not my intent. My intent was to get it in the middle, but not kidding you guys, we were out here planting at midnight, and we had very little visibility, and this is what we got. So I ended up companioning it with garlic. So I did a companion crop of garlic. So hopefully that will come up here. This next row is a cherry tomato row, and I did the Florida weave here. Honestly, I don't think I did this right, so I call it my Iowa knot because it's just basically a bunch of knots. But I will say, I have been going in and cleaning off the bottom foliage, and we're getting quite a few tomatoes to come through. So I'm pretty excited because I think this is going to be a really great outcome for, accessibility for the tomatoes. And then I companioned it with basil. Fun fact here, we've got a terrible issue with Japanese beetles, and they really attacked my basil row, but they did not do anything with this basil, and I think it has something to do because they don't like tomatoes, I think. But knock on wood, our basil has not been impacted by the Japanese beetles from the tomato row. This next row here is okra. This actually just started to take off. So we have burgundy okra, and then we have green okra. So this row is really starting to really, I'm excited because last year our okra didn't turn out because we really didn't take care of the, it was actually next to tomatoes, and the tomatoes overgrew and went through and kind of choked out the okra, but not this year. I'm not going to let it happen. This row here is kind of like our sweet pepper row. So we have green peppers growing. In the middle of the row I have a Spanish mammoth, and at the end of the row I have nata pinos. So if you've never heard of nata pinos, it's basically a jalapeno without the heat. This row right here are cucumbers. We did a mix of Armenian cucumbers, Marketmore cucumbers. The cucumber beetle has really done a number on our cucumbers this year. We are seeing some growth for our cucumbers. I think we've got probably 15 or 20 just this week to take to the market, so we are seeing some benefit. But if you look, I'm also seeing the signs of either a cucumber beetle or something else. So anytime this plant looks like this, this one I'm gonna pull, and then I just drop another seed. This next row here is our parsley. You know, surprisingly, the herb row has actually been doing very well. So we've got parsley, we've got cilantro. The cilantro is about ready to be reseeded, so we're gonna end up probably doing a chop and drop on this, and then reseeding the cilantro. I did plant a few cilantro plants as companions with our cucumbers, so when we do the chop and drop, I'll still have cilantro to take to the market. It'll at least tide us over until the next growth of cilantro grows. This right here is our sweet basil. So the sweet basil, you'll see we have row covers on it. This is a 10 by 50 foot, so 10 foot by 50 foot agribond from Johnny Seed. And then we also did, we got conduit, and then we've got the pipe bender from Johnny Seed, which we created these. It's actually worked out pretty well because the Japanese beetles started to take over. I'm going to jump back over to our wildflower garden because I do want to make sure I make mention of this because Ryan's worked really hard on this. We ended up having to pull all this up again. I don't know if you guys last year you watched the Wildflower Garden videos, part 1 and part 2, but if you didn't, you should watch them. They're funny. But we did spend a lot of time in this area. So Ryan pulled this back up because it started to look a lot like that back there. This Wildflower Garden, part of it actually really started to pop, and it's so beautiful. It really is. It's a sight to see in person. The idea behind it is to get this picture here to carry all the way over here. So I will tell you, we made a big mistake early on this year, beginning of spring. We didn't think that it was this. We thought this area here was just all weeds, and we ended up pulling a lot of it. In actuality, I think we pulled a lot of this. So huge mistake on our part, and now we're trying to fix it. We're running out of time, so this is one thing that, you know, we're gonna have to put a rain check on, and we'll come back to it and try to get it done by, you know, by the end of summer. This is actually plot 1. This is our tomatoes that we trellised. So we did a tomato trellis, definitely too short. We're gonna have to figure out how to approach that. But this is the reason why Ryan wanted to do another row of slicers, because he just wasn't sure how this was gonna do, which I don't blame him because they look pretty pitiful right now. I don't know why. Maybe I'm over pruning, but they do have tomatoes on them. Ryan's thinking that maybe they should be more tomatoes around this time of the year. I don't know. I really don't. This bed here, this was one of the first beds that we did early spring, and we've already turned these beds over. So this used to be spinach and this used to be arugula. So we've now planted 2 rows of beets. And then our kale is looking pretty fantastic. So kale's been doing really well. And then here are another row of tomatoes. This is a cherry variety. Guess what? Acre Farms is gonna have tomatoes. We will have tomatoes. Okay, so this area here, I have to go through, and this is just a monster. Ryan planted more sunflowers. We're gonna have sunflowers galore here, folks. But we have carrots out here, we have onions out here, and then here's part of the edible hedgerow. So, but again, I gotta get out here this weekend and get this weeded. The plan, what I try to do is, again, weed 3 beds. I try to do it in the morning. I wake up super early, but there's always something that goes on that I can't really get 3 beds done in the morning. So the goal is to get 3 beds done in a day. I would say we roughly on the farm, you know, we both work full time, like, you know, 40 hours a week. And then on the farm, we probably work, it's probably another 40 hours. So we've been very busy. I have learned so much. I've grown so much. And that's where Acre Farms has been, you know, working on building this generational farm. So if you're interested in buying a farm, just know that it's definitely the most rewarding work that you will do. That for sure. But I have never worked so hard in my life. I ache and I'm exhausted, but I know that it's so rewarding because I wake up early in the morning just to get out here and just to make sure that the garden is taken care of, make sure that our animals are taken care of. So if you're thinking about buying a farm, I mean, if you asked me if we'd do it again, absolutely we would. So, can't guarantee when our next video is going to be here, folks, but we will definitely try to get another one out sooner. If you're in the local area, you want to volunteer at Acre Farms, look me up. Alright folks, I gotta get back at it. I got 3 beds to weed. I gotta get this video uploaded for y'all. It's gonna be a late night. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tell a million friends too. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.